Welcome to Horse Profits episode number 2. And Ron, we just had so much fun the first time, we had to do it again.
Yeah, we have such great content this time. With the 2-year-old races at Gulfstream yesterday, and just looking forward to the Preakness. Lots of good things in episode 2.
Yeah, and it's been a fun week since Derby. Have you recovered?
No, I actually live up to our name of our show here with the Hoarse voice, of course, Horse Profits. We just said we've been talking nonstop for it seems like a week and a half.
It does, but we're going to talk a little bit more because we had such a huge weekend, as Ron alluded to, the Royal Palm Juvenile fillies, Royal Palm Juvenile boys, and wow, what a day it was.
It really was, and some really nice 2-year-olds we got to see. And of course, it's always a lot of fun seeing these babies come out and see their first race. A lot of them first time they ever stepped on the track. A couple had some experience.
Yeah, well, the Royal Palm Juvenile fillies, we'll take a look at the race because there was some quite green as grass type of fillies in this race. So we'll take a look at it and give you some of our live reactions here.
As usual, one horse broke a little slow out of that inside, and as we always mention, tough for a 2-year-old, tough for anybody when you break out of that gate.
A lot of these gals did not handle that tight turn there.
Yeah, well, satisfied mind. A lot of people picked with Wesley Ward. You'll see when he's turned for home, you could see starting right now that this horse is just not handling the turn.
No, and she was set up in a pretty nice spot too, but look at that. And then behind her, there was some moving and shaking going on. Saffy Joseph's runner, Kitty Cleo, tried to blow the turn, but the real superstar was Lenny Lou. She could not have been more professional.
She didn't turn her hair. She was just looked so good in before the race and into the race, just through the stretch. And it was great to talk to the connections afterward.
There was a lot going on in that race, like we saw, but it was really fun to watch the reactions of Patrick Biancone and all of their connections. And you caught up with him.
Yeah, he was very, very excited. And I asked him, well, you'll hear what he has to say. Patrick, congratulations. This horse, very impressive, winning at Keeneland in the slop. What did you expect from the horse today?
We was, on one hand, very confident, and because all the horses she beat in Keeneland, they won the next start. But that makes you a bit anxious too. But she's a baby, but she will learn. She was a little bit green coming to the stretch, but she's learning, and hopefully she'll be even better in 6 weeks.
Royal Ascot, is that the plan, for sure?
The plan is Royal Ascot, as long as she's healthy and everything go right, but I don't see why it will be a problem.
Now it's special winning for the Dunn family. I know they're connected to horse racing. How special is that?
It's very special. Kathleen Dunn is the best friend of my daughter, and the first horse they had was a 62.5 Claimers. What I said to her, you go very fast from 62.5 Claimer to a stakes horse. But they're good friends of us, and we work together, and so far so good.
Well, congratulations. Can't wait to see you with that top hat on.
Yeah, I cannot bring my lucky shirt. It's a problem.
Congratulations.
Oh man, I cannot wait to see him in a top hat.
Yeah, he wanted to bring his lucky shirt, but he wasn't allowed to. He's got to wear that tuxedo.
Oh,
there.
with the collar pop.
With the collar pop, yeah, he's got that certain look that he needs.
He does. I actually sent Andy a video, Andy Biancone's daughter, yesterday in the paddock. He was sitting there with the wind blowing in his hair, and I sent her a video of him. I said, man, your dad can't get any cooler than this.
Good buddy of ours, Louis Size. Was so lucky to spend the winter with him here at Gulfstream Park. He came back to town to ride, and what do you have to say?
Yeah, I caught up with him after the race, and he's never been a man of too many words, but he seems excited, so we'll take a look at what he said too. Two-time Kentucky Oaks winning jockey, Louis Saez. Louis, you made the trip here to South Florida, and it paid off here, huh?
Yes, definitely. We came to ride this filly. She's a special filly. We was working in here in Palmetto, and then in Keeneland she ran first time, and she win very impressed. So we keep following her, and here we are. She win today, so that was pretty impressive.
The track that day at Keeneland, it was an absolute mess, but she handled everything so professionally. What is it like to ride a filly that just kind of takes you to the front like that?
Yeah, I was pretty concerned about the track that day. It was really muddy, but she handled them pretty well. She broke from there. And she put me in a good position, and when we came to the top of the stretch, she made a big move, and she came with a victory. And today she broke much better. She was kind of a little bit green because first time in the turf, but she had a lot of talent, so we're really excited about her future.
You've never been to Royal Ascot. You got to get ready for the outfit there now.
Oh yes, definitely. That's why we came over here because we're looking to see if we can be there that day, and we hope all the best. And I think that really have a pretty good chance.
Now, the icing on the cake of the card was the Royal Palm Juveniles, and from a tough post position, George Weaver got it done.
George Weaver certainly got it done, and another race where, boy, it was so amazing to load all those horses, 2-year-olds we're talking about, into the gate, but they were pretty well behaved for maybe seeing the gate for the first time with horses on each side of them.
Yeah, exactly. We'll take a look at the race here. So the boys, I felt like, were a little more behaved than the gals here.
Got them all in gate, and they break sharply. Once again, the one's going to have to carve out a trip.
What's so cool about both of these Royal Palm Juvenile races yesterday, Ron, that I think is noteworthy is both of these winners passed horses, which is so huge for a 2-year-old.
And this one really, to come out, tip out 3.5 wide, three paths wide, and just take off in the stretch, and he just had all he needed in the stretch. And the 4-horse ran a pretty good race. That Squire, who was the 4-5 favorite. So no disgrace for the 4-horse either.
So George Weaver, you've got to really pull to get the words out of him, but Brian did catch up with him right after the race.
Yeah, let's see what he had to say.
In both ends, the Philly end and this end, I drew to one hole, and I wanted to throw something across my living room. I just, I wasn't happy, but they're both nice horses. The Philly got away a little bad and got a little late on me, but this colt's a really nice colt. He came to me that way from Kieran Dunn, from Waver Trees. He trained well for him up there. He told me he's a nice horse, and he's been nice the whole time.
We haven't run too many of these Royal Palm races, but you've shown a penchant to winning them. I think a Crimson Advocate, No Name Mets, this horse today off works, well prepared.
Thank you. We're excited. Hopefully, if he comes out of it well, we'll try to get to Ascot.
Yeah, and I mean, the path there. You've done it with Crimson Advocate, winning over there. I mean, does it give you kind of a leg up that you've done it before now?
Yeah, we've got the lay of the land, and I understand it, and it takes a good horse, and I think we got one.
All right, congratulations again, George. Appreciate it. Sandal Song in the Royal Palm Juvenile.
Ron, you talked to Luca Panici after the race. What did he seem excited?
Yeah, he was very excited, and he we joke about Luca. He never smiles. He's always business. He was smiling. Let's see what he had to say. I'm here with jockey Luca Panici, who just rode Sandal Song to victory in the Royal Palm Juvenile. Congratulations, first of all, Luca. Tell me about your trip and what you expected from the horse.
Well, I accepted something special because I work the horse, I like the horse, I'm confident with George, we win this race 2 years ago, and so I was pretty confident. And the trip was perfect. He hesitated a little bit on the break because it's still a little bit green, but after when I was sit behind the favorite, I was plenty of force, and he gave me everything. It's a good horse, and we know it.
Sorry, look at me being a novice. I looked at the horse, looked stone fit to me.
No, I mean, he's that body type, and I mean, he's growing because I know a few months ago he's still growing, and I think he has a really, really nice future ahead.
Well, thank you. Congratulations. And
thank you.
I hope you get it to Royal Ascot. You think?
I hope so.
Yeah? I'd like to see you in that top hat.
I will.
Well, it is fun when you get to see jockey Luca Panici smiling out in Florida.
Yeah, and he's just such a great job. He's here all year long, and when he gets to ride these 2-year-olds, he's very special. He's won a lot of 2-year-old races here.
Yeah.
So always good to talk to Luca.
Yeah, it is. And what's cool about Luca is being a veteran rider, he kind of schools these 2-year-olds, and I think that's a great segue into just how much success that these Royal Palm Juvenile races have had at Ascot in the past.
Yeah, we've had Crimson Advocate go and win in the Queen Mary, so that's good, and just an incredible performance by that horse. There's usually 27 horses, it seems, in those races, and it's so different from here, and they're able to go over and show their speed.
Yeah, and that was with George Weaver too, so he's no stranger to the circuit there and how to get one ready. And then, of course, last year with Jose D'Angelo and Gabaldon, he was just really impressive.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe how he ran. He was just going and going. He finished his second in Windsor Castle. I just thought that he was, I thought he was going to win. It was just so exciting. So the success is right there, and that's why I think we had full fields this year, because people know that you can get a a plane ride to England if you play it right.
Yeah, you can. I know that you've tried to tail long on those, right?
Yeah. I'm always trying to get into. I want to see what I look like in the top hat.
I think it would be no, you don't look good in the hats.
No,
We've
I don't
decided
look-
that.
yeah,
We don't.
Hat's enough for me.
Hat's not for you, so no royal ascot for this guy here.
But you gotta wear it.
You do? Yeah. In
rules.
certain
There's
enclosures,
rules.
you have to. But I think that just kind of keeps the tradition alive. But we're excited to see the tradition alive at Gulfstream Park with that Royal Juvenile Palm partnership. Now, Ron, for a guy that really hates talking on the phone, that's our co-host Brian. He sure does get a lot of pretty good guests.
Yeah, he nailed it in episode 1, and he's right back in episode 2, and he's got a really nice guy he's listening to, Mike Gorham. He's just been in the Mid-Atlantic and successful trainer. He's come to Gulfstream and had success. So Brian, as you said, caught up with him.
Yeah, and he talked to him about the Federico Tessio winner, Pay Billy, who just won that race, and that was the stepping stone into the Preakness. So we'll listen to what they had to chat about.
Well, I'm happy to be joined now by longtime Maryland horseman Mike Gorham, who's going to saddle Pay Billy in Saturday's Preakness 150. Mike, the first question's a pretty easy one for me. Like I said, a longtime Maryland horseman. How excited are you to bring one over there on Saturday and have a legitimate chance to do some damage?
Yeah, it's great. We've raced in the Mid-Atlantic region for a lot of years, over 30 years, and I've been stabled at Pimlico a few different times and run a lot of horses at Pimlico and Laurel, and know the area really good. And I've been a fan of the game, going to the Preakness as a fan, and some days we'd had horses on the undercard to run, but never had anything in the Preakness. So it's pretty exciting to be in the Preakness.
Well, I guess that's a great spot to start with Pay Billy. It's you're bringing in a legitimate horse. It's not like you're just taking a shot. You've got a two-time stakes winner. As a young horse, Mike, what did you think? Did you, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think maybe on Saturday you could be running in the Preakness?
Well, we always thought it'd be a good horse. Probably not to this extent. He just kind of did get better. He was pretty green right off the bat, and we knew he wanted to go longer, and it would take a couple starts to really get him going, and kind of that's what happened. And when the light bulb went on, he was been all business since.
Well, would you say, Mike, that was it the private terms when things really started clicking? Because, that was his first stakes win and a real breakthrough performance at that.
When he broke his maiden, he was really impressive because he showed speed that he really didn't show in his few prior races, and and he ran a big race, and the maiden race was just going short, and we definitely want him to go longer. And when we did stretch him out, and then he answered the question there, and he won, and then we got into the stake races, and then he just got better, got better every start.
The Tessio obviously propelled him into the Preakness, but going into that race, were you confident, and was it even in the back of your mind that all of a sudden this is kind of front and center, we could have a Preakness horse here?
Yeah, when he ran and beat a nose in the earliest stake, I think he could have won that race. He just was a little green, and we had put blinkers on him, and the horse would get by him, and then he'd come back on again, re-rallied to just get beat a nose, which was impressive to me. So at that time, we made a plan that would run in the next two Maryland races, and the Tessio was a win and you're into the Preakness, and that was kind of our plan, and it all worked out, and when he won it, and we get free entry to the Preakness, which is a big deal too. So it just all worked out the way we planned, which in this business, how it goes. It doesn't always go to plan.
Yeah, without a doubt. You mentioned distance in two turns. I mean, the Tessio at 1 1/8 miles to clear that hurdle, and then on Saturday 1 mile and 3/16. You've got to be confident with his ability to handle that trip.
Yeah, I don't think distance is a problem. He has tactical speed. He can be up close. He can come from off the pace too. So I think his best race is tracking a horse and trying to run him down. So he gets more competitive when he is chasing horses, for sure.
Ron, with Preakness 150, it's so fun to hear from a guy like that with just so many roots in Maryland in the training there.
It's got to be, like I said, the most exciting thing to win the big race at your home track, whether it's the Florida Derby here in Florida or, of course, the Preakness in Maryland. And, he thinks the horse is going to run well, and I like that.
Yeah, I do too. And I think you kind of always have a little bit of an advantage when you're on your home court. But now we'll segue into let's get Preaky.
What'd you say, Preaky?
Preaky.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought you said Freaky. I'm sorry.
Well, you do that every day, but Preakness 150, Ron, it's going to be such a big week.
Yeah, and you know what? My favorite place to go. Really, I have so much fun.
How many
there.
have you done? 200?
Yeah, 250.
It's only been 150, but he's been to 200. You were there digging out the track, right?
That's right. I put the original track in.
I thought so. Yeah, that's going to be sad.
Loves to get.
Yeah, hey, we just have to do it around here. There's nobody older and looks as good as him in the continental U.S., I think.
Yeah. Well, my buddy George Washington, him and I hung out together.
Yeah,
so,
I figured that you probably did at the Preakness. Now, Preakness 150, Ron, we got some breaking news that Sandman, I don't want to call him a viral sensation, but he's kind of an easy horse to root for.
Yeah, I mean, just what's going on with the connections and all the fun that they've been having, and now we find out that he's going to be entered in the Preakness. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, it is, and we saw a very special guest this weekend at Gulfstream that was a surprise to all of us to come, and this was Griffin Johnson, who is quite honestly, I asked him his title. I said, what do you do? Because I wasn't sure. And he's a social media influencer, and he was part of a program created by America's Best Racing and West Point Thoroughbreds to get a small part of a horse, and that was Sandman, and just in the past year has grown so much with the horse.
Yeah, and took, I think, the second choice in the Kentucky Derby when I went back and looked at the chart. So there's a lot of interest, and this is the youth of the game. You talk about how old I am. This was a pup, this kid.
Yeah, he was, but it was really fun, and we'll take a look at what he had to say here, because we talked to all things Metallica with Enter Sandman and getting to the Preakness next weekend.
It's a special day here in South Florida because we've got a celebrity here. This is Griffin Johnson, and Griffin, social media influencer. You have been thrust into this horse racing community with the ownership group of Sandman. How was the Derby?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get the place we wanted, but, muddy track, tough conditions. Sandman had never rode there, and, just a few little small errors, and before you know it, you're in 7th place. But he's a special horse. He obviously has all the talent in the world, the best team behind him, and, every race is different. So I just enjoyed the experience.
So it's breaking news now, as of Saturday morning, that Sandman will be taking his show on the road to Baltimore for some crab cakes.
Yep.
You'll be there. It's exciting because there's been, as you've kind of seen on X, that there's been a lot of discourse about running horses, not running horses. But this has to be exciting for you to take the next step.
Yeah, I mean, obviously didn't get the Derby win, so we're not running for the Triple Crown. But, Sandman came back from his race. He looked great. He bounced back really quick, and he loves to run. And obviously Mark Cassidy knows what he's doing. So, I just do my job, and I let him do his. And he said he's ready, so if he says that, then that means Sandman's going to come and, hopefully get a dry track and run a big one.
Are you a Metallica fan?
Going into it, I knew who they were, but I wouldn't say I was a fan. After speaking with James, I'm a Metallica fan. He's a 10 out of 10 guy.
I was going to ask, how was that meeting him? He took time out of his schedule. They're touring. They sell out arenas. How was that like?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. He comes from Nashville, obviously took time out of his day to stop for his only night off to meet Sandman. And, Addie is also amazing. If you guys see this, love them both. And, it's just been amazing how many different avenues and things we've been able to bring together around Sandman, and makes me excited for the entire industry, because I feel like we're bringing in the right people at the right time.
And there's always room for some rock and roll in the horse racing game,
Amen.
right? Yeah, that's how we get these horses in the game, is you're naming them after somebody famous. If we just get Taylor Swift, she's going to blow you out of the water.
Well, I mean, they did have Swift delivery.
They did,
but
yeah.
that kind of, I keep telling people that you can't have a one-off. You have to have people that are authentic and love the game and do it day in and day out. I mean, Saturday I'm at Gulfstream incognito and we're out here giving out trophies, and it's just it's the best sport in the world, and people that believe in that, it's coming through right now as we speak.
It is, and people like you are definitely helping grow the game. Your week at Kentucky Derby leading up to the Derby, of course, you kind of got to see behind the scenes. I saw you in the ice bath. What was kind of the most surprising part to you in getting these horses ready for the big day?
Man, these people, I mean, there is a lot of time and money and dedication that goes into this, and you kind of hear it, and some of these guys talk, oh, I've been doing this for 30, 40, Mark Cassie's been trying to win the Derby for 47 years. And it's just insane the amount of effort and energy and the people that you don't get to see behind the track. I mean, I call it a beehive, but it really is a lot of moving parts. It was nice to give those people some recognition and really show people what goes into it.
What is the most exciting thing to you about getting to Baltimore? Is it the crab cakes? Is it the amazing crowd in the infield there? What is it? What are you most looking forward to besides Sandman?
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the infield. I'm excited to see how that plays, because with horse racing, a lot of people are always trying to balance class versus fun. So I really am interested to see how the layout is there, because I would love to find the middle ground of bringing in new people and making it fun, but also keeping it classy. So it's going to be a really good insight as to what we could do with the sport.
Well, we're thankful and we welcome you. I know some people have differing opinions, but as a young person that loves the game, it's fun and you can tell you're authentic with it. So just from all of us here, we appreciate you being a spokesperson for the game.
Yeah, thank you, and I'll keep telling everyone, thank you guys for allowing me to take some time and talk about the sport and really just help bridge the gap between Gen Z and the rest of the cohort of the world. So thank you guys, and thanks for everyone that's watching.
Yep. Griffin Johnson, enter Sandman, enter Griffin in Baltimore next weekend.
Now, Ron, we're about to have a pretty busy week up in Baltimore, but seriously, I know I joke about how many years you've been alive for. How many Preaknesses have you worked?
I think it's my 10th or 11th. I could be 10 or 12. I had missed one year, but I always loved going there. And the beauty of it is, if you ever get to go to there, you just the steak barn in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, walking around doing interviews and stuff, and I just love it. And you go back to the hotel, and the people are nice.
Yeah.
So it continues. It's just it's the whole town is sort of, as you said, getting their preak on, however they say that.
I like that. There you go. You catch on
hip
quick.
now.
Yeah, he hung around with a social media influencer, and all of a sudden he's a TikTok star. But yeah, in all seriousness, it is really fun, and you've done it so many years, and this is now my third one working with you, which it's just been so fun in general to do. But like you said, it's a fun atmosphere in general. The crab cakes are amazing.
Wow.
The food, you can't. It's a lot of work, but Ron, what do you think? What do you look forward to the most?
Of course, the race.
Yes.
Finally, when it's all done, you get to see the race, and where our stage is right where the jockeys' quarters are, and they come right by, and you see them going in, you see them going out all day long, and it's like a big family. And then, of course, the race comes, and all the hoopla surrounding you, going to the cupola, painting the silks up. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. And what's even more fun is after the excitement of the celebration of the historic trophy, you get to watch the Arabians after that. You know all about working the last race.
Yes, I've worked the last race every year because everybody else goes to party, and I have to do the Arabian race.
Some people actually do have to work, so not all of us are going to party, but I know we catch you at the local bar after it's done, because what a day it is of work.
Yeah, and and they have the best crab cakes in town. So
At least you stay full there.
I eat crab cakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner when I'm up there. I get my fill for the whole year.
No, but you have to, though.
Yeah.
It's so good. So we're excited to see everybody up in Maryland, and thank you, everybody who joined us on episode 1. Thank you for everybody who joined us episode 2, and we'll be back for 3, 4, 5, 6. As long as this guy doesn't croak, we're going to be back.